I think we ain't done yet.
Hey.
Hello and welcome back to the Second and Two podcast. I'm your host, TB. I got my co-host, producer extraordinaire, Broncos fan who's going nuts because they got the lead on Monday Night Football, Jodye. What's up, Joe?
Yo, what's good, man? I mean, we were briefly talking about it before we started. They're up 3-0 right now. And, they got a pick. But as we'll know, the win probability for the Bills is 63.5 still at the start. Or I guess a couple minutes into the second, which is kind of funny. And I guess one quick note before we get into stuff around the league and, your update from last week and your game. Mitch texted me and Johnny was like, bro, this guy 23 on the Broncos, he's too scared to tackle. And the next play, this dude, he just like pushed the dude out of bounds. It was hilarious.
That's super funny. Mitch calls it like he sees it, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'll give you the update real quick on the playoff game. It's a good update,
Do you guys do that? Do you do the chop? What do you guys? What's your guy? Do you guys do anything cool
they,
like that?
they have it. I mean, we don't have enough of a crowd, honestly.
Okay.
They try to do it. They try. The band plays that same song and everything, but yeah, they're not as good at the chop. It's like Florida State, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won our first playoff game since 2011. We upset the 1 seed in our portion of the bracket. We won the game 31-22.
Hell yeah.
Pretty much awesome game, like all the way to the end against a really good opponent. We took some blows, gave them right back. We defensively it was fun. We got them to fourth down on their first drive, and on 4th and 8 they threw a 46-yard touchdown on us.
Dang.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer. We had an inexperienced corner out there, and because our normal guy was hurt because
Like he got hurt or
he got hurt a couple weeks prior and had been kind of trying to play through the injury, and it made it worse. It was a calf strain.
he's trying to
And
be
so he
Joey
was like,
B?
yeah, exactly. The Joey B. He had the Joey B, and he's like our all league, our all district corner. So
Oh, dang.
he
He's a
tried
monster.
to. He was a game time decision. Tried to warm up. He gave it everything he
You
had, but
make a break.
he couldn't
Yeah.
go. He couldn't get warm. Like his calf was just so tight. So I had to play another kid who's pretty inexperienced out there. Gave up the out and up, looking back at the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So they go up 7-0, but we come back, we score, we get the 2-point conversion, and then it's kind of a battle back and forth, and we go into halftime up 8-7, which gave us a lot of confidence, because we're winning the game.
Yeah.
Everyone had projected them to beat us by 21 points. We're winning the game by 1.5. They're nervous. We're feeling good about ourselves. They scored on their opening drive of the second half. They took them 3 fourth-down conversions.
Dang.
It was like a 14-play, 8-minute drive.
Or was it a bunch of like 4th and 1s and they just said, screw it, we're going to go for it?
Yeah, a bunch of like 4th and 1, 4th and 2s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was one that QB.
They were like just running real plays.
They QB sneaked on one of them, and the guy was kind of reaching the ball out, and we punched it out and recovered it. But they blew the whistle. They said, no, it's forward progress. I was like, come on. If you watch it, there's no way. They gave it to him though. So they end up scoring. They go up 14-8. Well, our offense is not phased. We counter, go right back at them, get the 2-point again. We go up 16-14, and I'm feeling pretty good at that point. Yeah. 16-14 late in the third quarter. And I'm feeling like, okay, defensively, we have shut them down. They don't have anything, they're not going to score again. And I'm feeling like we're going to win this game. And then they run the kickoff back to the 1-yard line.
At least you guys made the tackle.
So now it's like, crap. Okay, so we got to go back out there.
Goal line.
Goal line. We try and get the stand. They do eventually score. Yeah. They get the 2-point. They go up. Yeah, they get the 2 no, this one
3.
wasn't on 4th down. I think it was
Oh,
2nd
okay.
down. I think we stopped on 1st down, they scored on 2nd down. So they go up 22-16 after the two-point conversion too.
Uh-huh.
Well, then we score again. We get the 2-point. We go up 24-22.
Yep.
Now I'm like, "Okay, we really got them. There's no shot."
How much time is
Um,
left at this point?
there's about 9 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
Okay.
So then they drive the field. They get into the red zone. With about 5 minutes to go, they're down 2. They elect to kick like a 32-yard field goal because we got them on 4th and goal from the 15. So they're
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
"Well,
dang.
we gotta try and kick it." They have a real kicker though, like a good kicker.
Uh-huh.
He's no John Barron. Shout out to our guy. But pretty good. Like, he could definitely make from 32.
Yeah.
So, we had the block all set up. We're sitting there. My head coach is asking, like, "Do we wanna ice him?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then I'm like, "No, no, no, don't do it. Don't call the timeout. Don't call it.
Yeah.
We're gonna be good." And, he kicks it. He's misses wide right. Our
Oh, the Jake
sideline goes
Moody.
crazy. We're all over it, and then offensively, we break them just running the football, and we score
Uh-huh.
again, like a 50-yard touchdown run,
Dang.
and,
Okay.
uh, and then kick the extra point to go up 9, 31-22. At that point, like, there's just that one broke them.
Yeah.
They were just done. They weren't gonna score
That
again.
two-score game wasn't gonna happen anyways.
Yep. We forced 3 turnovers on defense. They were 0 for 9 on 3rd down. They were 4 for 6 on 4th down, though, so credit to
Yeah,
them.
that's crazy. That's a little
But they
insight
were
later that I have as well. My bad.
they were a team that was averaging 39 points per game. We held them to 22.
Ooh.
So, it was pretty awesome. Our team got, like, some recognition, staff and all that stuff in the Lubbock
Yeah.
area, like, it was a big big deal, and, so it was probably one of my favorite games I've ever coached in my career. Like
Hell yeah, that's sick. What was that
I'm
trophy you
talking
guys won?
so that was you get in Texas, every round is called something different, and every
Oh,
time you
okay.
win a playoff game, you win a gold ball. So that's like the deal is we won our by district championship. So this
Uh-huh.
round is called the regional or area championship. Then the
Uh-huh.
next round is the regional
The
semifinal,
regional.
and the next round is the regional final. It's structured like the NCAA tournament. 64 teams make it in, and then you
Uh-huh.
whittle it down all the way. There's,
Dang.
4 brackets basically, 4
Yeah.
separate sides, and if you get to the final 4, that's, you're and then you wanna go to the state
You go
championship
state.
and all that.
That's
So,
crazy.
we're in the round of 32 now. Like, we're one of
Yeah.
32 teams left in the state of Texas in 2A. So, it's pretty cool. Not a lot of
Dang,
people
so
are
this could
playing
go
still.
on till, like, January? Or
It
am I tripping how
goes
many
goes through mid-December.
mid-December?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
Hopefully
so,
win
like,
though.
right before Christmas. Like, if you're playing for the state title, you're playing right before Christmas.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yep. Um, it's been a long season. We're in week 15 now.
Yeah, that's
So,
crazy.
um, but, it's been fun. The kids really it was cool to see them just, like, they executed the game plan perfectly on offense, defense, everything we wanted to do, we did.
Yeah,
Um,
that's huge.
and we stopped power and counter.
We
We,
learned it. We when it
yeah, we
matters most, we learned it.
yeah, it was awesome. And now this week, we have a even tougher challenge. We're playing against a really good wing T team, um,
Uh-huh.
from Amarillo. They're called Wellington. Um,
Like the
they've
beats?
been historically, they've basically been a powerhouse from what I've been told.
Okay.
They're not, quite that right now, but they're good at what they do. All the kids have been running wing T since they, you know,
Since, like,
came out of the
Pop
womb.
Warner?
Yeah. So
Dang.
they know it. They're efficient at it. They're really good. They can do it in their sleep. So it's really hard when you're playing that kind of offense and you have 3 days to get prepared for it,
Yeah.
you know?
It's on
So,
Thursday again?
yeah, we play again on Thursday.
Is it always Thursday, or is that just with the ref
No,
thing?
the first 2 rounds of the playoffs are kinda scattered Thursday, Friday, Saturday because there's so
Uh-huh.
many teams playing, and you
Okay.
have to
Yeah.
get
travel and stuff.
stadiums and stuff. And most teams kind of see it as an advantage to play on Thursday because you get that extra day to get ready for your next opponent. Versus if you
True.
play on Friday and the other team played on Thursday, they have like a day's rest on you.
Yeah.
Or, definitely if you played on
Scouting
Saturday,
and stuff.
yeah, all that. So, next round, if we can make it to round 3, most of the games are at that point, all the games are on Fridays
Okay.
usually. So,
That's good.
but yeah, we're now on this, third week in a row on this Thursday schedule. So we play Thursday at 4:00 our time. We're the first of a doubleheader at Happy Bake Stadium in Canyon, Texas. So it's a pretty big stadium. Sounds like it's going to be an awesome venue for us to play at, and a great experience for the kids.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
hopefully we bring our pads, execute the game plan again defensively, try and shut down a wing T team, give our offense a shot to go win it, and that's all you can really ask for. We got a shot.
Yeah, exactly. Got the chance, you're in there, just make it happen. I love that, bro. Congrats on the first, you know, win in the playoffs, and you just keep it rolling, bro.
We're gonna try and do, bro. I told the kids today, don't be satisfied.
True. Yeah,
I
you gotta
quoted
get that hunger.
I quoted the Marcus Peters from a few years ago. I think we ain't done yet.
Ooh.
That's what I hit them with today. So hopefully they liked it.
Hell yeah. That's dope. But let's look to news around the league, you know what I'm saying? Starts off, we got our guy Josh Dobbs. Made it happen again versus the Saints this week. He threw for 426 yards. Or no, sorry, that's a lie. That's how much he's thrown with the Saints, and has 110 rushing yards with them. Or Jesus, I'm all over the place with the Vikings in his first 2 games. And he's the first player with at least 400 yards passing and rushing with no picks in his first 2 games with the new team.
Wow. It's pretty sweet. That's impressive. I mean, Dobbs is kind of like
He's a miracle, man.
yeah,
Making
he's
it
kind of
happen.
like the guy on fire in the entire league right now. Like the NFL's Twitter account made him their header.
Wait, really? They got
Yes.
rid of Travis Kelce and T Swift?
And yes, that's how big it is. He
He's huge.
supplanted T Swift, dude. It's a big deal.
Nah,
Um,
she's in Argentina, and they just said, she's not coming to a game anytime soon. We don't need her no more.
speaking of on fire, the Cowboys at home cannot lose. They've won
Really?
12 straight home games,
That's wild.
and it's the longest streak in
I
the
I
NFL
guess they
right
don't
now.
ever play in in the playoffs there though, huh?
Ah! Dang, that was cold-blooded, bro.
Gotti.
Why are you doing like that?
I
Golly.
had time to think about it. I don't know. It just came out.
That was mean.
It's all right. I mean, and then crazy weekend though. We had 5 games this week. Come down to a final kick. I was gonna say one score games, but final kick. That's crazy. We got the Texans, who ended up winning. The Browns also won. Cardinals also won. Did they all win? Is that what I'm getting here? Seahawks and
Yeah, these
Lions.
are all the teams that
Yeah,
kicked to win, I
that
think.
won.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all won.
Yeah.
That's crazy
Texans,
too.
Browns, Cardinals, Seahawks, Lions, they all won on, walk-off field goals.
Yeah, and what's it called? Let me double check. I could probably just get this out the way now. Yeah, the Cardinals, Kyler Murray return, took out my 2.5 for the Falcons last week. It is what it is.
Got him.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, that little fella out there running around with that ball bigger than his head,
Hey, I
making
mean, his
plays.
hair
I
is
missed
huge
him.
these days. Yeah. Good energy for the squad, though, I bet.
Yeah. Miss Kyler. Glad he's out there playing again.
See, we got CJ Stroud from the Texans. He's the third rookie quarterback in NFL history with 3 games of 350 or more passing yards. He joins Andrew Luck and Cam Newton, who also did that. Some good
Those
company
guys
right there
had
for
pretty good
sure.
rookie years. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's legit. Good for CJ, bro. He's lighting the league on fire right now. And it's not like he just went and beat your average quarterback up there in Cincinnati. He beat Joe Burrow.
Joey
Joe
B. Yeah.
Burrow
And what he did that last drive, too. I mean, granted,
again.
yeah. Granted, Tyler Boyd fumbled the bag earlier too, but it is what it is.
True. Um, TJ Watt has 88 sacks and 96 career games. Surpassed his brother JJ, who has 87 and a half for the second most sacks by a player in his first 100 NFL games since 1982. That's when stats became an official stat.
Uh-huh.
The only Pro Football Hall of Famer, Reggie White, had more, 105. So he's still
That's crazy.
way out there. Reggie White was insane. Can we just take a minute to
Different
appreciate Reggie
monster.
White? That guy was a monster, and people don't talk about him enough anymore. Like R.I.P. Reggie White, but that dude was sick, and he did
Yeah.
it from like all over the D line. Like he was insane. I freaking love Reggie White, but it's pretty also insane though that the next two guys are brothers, like TJ and JJ
Yeah.
Watt,
That's a
man.
that's a wild part right there.
That's pretty cool, actually. Those guys got to be like, wow, like that's awesome.
Breed football players over there in that family, bro. Monsters.
No question.
But we got to kick it to our fantasy update that we got between me and you. I will say real quick, I might have us draft a third squad next week or the week after, depending how this plays out. Because right now we're tied. Spoiler alert, it's 5-5 now for both of us. So this week I had a lot of buys, which kind of hurt me. So the Eagles, the Rams, and the Dolphins, which is all my receivers. So I got smoked and blown out of the water. You're up by 5 already, and you're waiting on Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen to play. Because
Okay.
unlike me, Patty Mahomes and Travis Kelce for you, you had subs. So I don't. So you're just blowing me out the water. You got TJ Hawkinson coming in for his first start for you, 30.4.
Nice.
You got Jamar
Nice.
Chase with the hurt back. He went 23.4. Bijan Robinson is back this week, 17.6. No more single digits for him. And on the flip side, we got me, Christian McCaffrey, 20.2, and Jahmyr Gibbs, 26.2, which were my best. And then I had Zach Wilson starting. That was the only sub I got this week at 13.92. And
Zach Wilson.
yeah. So you're,
Uh,
like I said, 90.4 to 85.4. And you have Josh Allen and Stephon, whatever they do for you tonight just increases that score
icing on
for
the
you.
cake, baby.
Yeah.
So it's funny for all the listeners, we don't have like a way that we just track this digitally or anything. So my favorite part every week is I forget who's even on my team in this. And then we show up on Monday
Yeah.
and I'm always kind of like, oh, let's see if I won or not.
Yeah,
It's my favorite thing
yeah.
when Jody has to tell us like who won because I never have any idea. I forgot TJ Hawkinson was my backup tight end and that
That's
he
what I'm saying,
started
bro.
for me this week. He went crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I have
awesome.
him on my real team, so that was huge. I tried trading him away this week, actually. I was trying to get Travis Etienne, so I sent the dude, I think Christian Kirk and TJ Hawkinson because he needs a tight end, and I was like, "Let's see what happens." And then he doesn't respond, so I'm like, "All right." And then TJ Hawkinson goes off. I'm like, "Guess I still need him."
Yep. Just guess you
Josh
can't have
Dobbs
him.
is feeding the
Sorry.
guy hard. Just troop. I guess I should save that. That's another preview. I don't know.
All right, so it's good to know that I could
We'll
come
be
back and
we'll
get a
be
win in
seeing TJ
fantasy.
Hawkinson soon. Yeah,
Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah,
yeah.
5-5
So
is really even, and a lot of room for more dubs, hopefully. And we'll be in playoffs soon. I think it's like 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out.
there we go.
So
After 10 weeks of football, we kind of wanted to turn up the dial right now,
ooh,
right? And we're gonna take a ride on the old flame meter, all right?
yes,
And so
sir.
we're gonna go through and we're gonna progressively give hotter takes. All right, Joe. So the way the game works, we'll go take for take here, tit
Uh
for
huh.
tat, if you will,
There you go.
and we'll see how hot we can make this thing. All right.
Did you take a look
Um,
at mine at all after, or you haven't? You'll
I,
just
I
find out
think
right
we
now.
both peeked at each other's, but I'm real excited to kind of hear what each other says here. All
Okay.
right.
Okay. Sounds good.
So we'll start with our lukewarm takes. These are takes that are, I don't think anyone's going to think that they're crazy, but after only 10 weeks, we're saying some things, all right?
Yeah.
So, would you like me to start or would you like to start with the lukewarm take, Jody?
I'll go first just because
Okay.
I feel like it's relevant in a way, and considering I was heavily invested in this team at the start of the season. So I'm going with Aaron Rodgers will not take another snap this year. He teased coming back mid-December yesterday, right? And as crazy as that sound, I don't think the Jets will be in a position to make the playoffs, which wouldn't grant him a reason to come back this year, in my eyes.
Fair. That makes sense. I think there's been those reports about him like trying to come back in December.
Yeah.
The Jets, if they hover around 500, I guess it's possible. I don't know. It's still an Achilles. Still feels like that would be really stretching it. So I guess we'll see. But I like it. I don't think that's a crazy take. But it is at
Exactly. We're
least
just getting
lukewarm.
started.
It is at least lukewarm because there's been all the reports saying he's gonna come back. So I
Yeah.
kinda like that you're going against the grain here. Um, After watching this weekend, my lukewarm take is the NFC South will not win a playoff game for the second year in a row. Um, they won a playoff game with Tampa's win over Philly in the
Ooh-wee.
2021-22 postseason.
That was when the
Um,
Rams won, yeah?
mhm.
They needed that to happen for
Yeah,
everything to play out for them to get that home game, which was wild.
yeah. You know, last year Tampa hosted Dallas and got smoked.
Uh-huh.
It really feels like between Tampa, New Orleans, or Atlanta, whichever team
Falcons.
does win that division, they're all alive. One of them will win it. Whichever team does win that division is basically winning the right to host Dallas again and get smoked again. That's what it feels like right now. I mean, Atlanta. It was Kyler's first start back. The
Yeah,
Cardinals have one of the worst
that's
rosters in
tough.
the NFL, and I know they've been scrappy every week, and I know Kyler was back, but golly, they couldn't win that game no matter. I mean, ugh, I just Atlanta. Mm.
Lost hope.
Okay, the Saints, they go on the road to Minnesota. I get it. Minnesota's been hot. Josh Dobbs
Mhm.
is having a career season the last couple weeks. But you should I mean, if you're a playoff team, that's the kind of game you gotta go win. And they just didn't have that, and they weren't competitive for a good chunk of it, and then they came back to make it look more competitive, but really, they got blown out in the first half. And then Tampa, after like a 4 or 5 game losing streak, finally did win. They beat, Will Levis and the Titans and they at home and kinda looked good doing it, but again, I've just seen all those teams play really bad football at different points in the year this last year or
Yeah.
this last 10 weeks, and, I don't believe in any of them in the playoffs, so the NFC South gonna go a second year without winning a playoff game.
Nah, that's very, very easy to agree with. I mean, that's the whole point of the lukewarm, right? Just something that doesn't seem out of the range of the scope. Uh, Going on to our hot take though, warming up a little bit, cranking it from the two symbol to a little bit four-ish, 5 maybe. I got the Jaguars will not win their division this year. Now, when I wrote it down, I thought I had a case for either the Colts or Texans to win it. I'm leaning more towards the Texans now, just them taking it from them. But I don't think they fumbled the bag hard this weekend to a very, playoff worthy opponent, and it's not looking good. They didn't start off too great. Their best win was the Bills overseas, who were probably tired from days travel when they stayed a whole week out there. You know what I mean?
Okay. Alright. I think I still believe in the Jags, but this is a hot take section, so you're going out on a limb when you're saying this, so I like it. Um, it's funny because on the flip side, despite me saying I still like the Jags, I'm gonna go to the Texans, who I assume is the team you're thinking will win that division, if not
Yeah.
the Jags. CJ Stroud is not only a lock for the offensive rookie of the year,
Mhm.
he's an MVP candidate. right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's already
He
thrown for 2,626 yards. He's got 15 touchdowns. He finally threw a second interception. If you're looking at just numbers, he's going to throw for over 4,500 yards, probably near 30 touchdowns, probably less than 5 picks. At this
Mhm.
point, that's an MVP worthy season. You've already seen
Yeah.
some members of the media start to toot this horn. Dan Orlovsky being the biggest promoter of it. Once you start hearing that and you start getting a little momentum, and there's no clear front runner right now, like people were really starting to get on Lamar. Well, then Lamar kind of has a tougher
Yeah.
game against Cleveland,
Yeah,
so
for
now
sure.
he's sort of out of it. Jalen hasn't been quite as good. Mahomes has certainly not been quite as good. Even though those guys are still up
Yeah.
there, it doesn't feel like anyone's run away with MVP yet. And I don't know, CJ Stroud, the way he's playing, he might put himself in that conversation.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it kinda goes hand in hand with what I was just saying, so it makes perfect sense. Let's see. I almost hit an audible just so I could have just one of my takes be about that team, but it it was gonna be that I believe 2 teams from the AFC West would make it to the playoffs, but I didn't look into that too much, but I almost hit an audible. But now we're on the blue flame, the hottest part that you could get to flame out there. And for me, I'm going with our guy, the man transferring teams like crazy in the past 2 years. Josh Dobbs will surpass DeMar Hamlin and win comeback player of the year after leading the Vikings to the playoffs.
Whoa. I like that. That's a
And
fun
the
take.
and yeah, and the reasoning is I don't know if DeMar will actually play in a game this year or like play enough in a game, I should say, for him to truly be warranted. That I've seen the lines going up and down, more people sneaking in, getting closer to that top spot. So I don't see it too far out of the scope, but it's also like I said, it probably might not happen. It's getting a little hotter,
Yeah, we're at
but
the
it's
blue
very
flame
doable.
right now. Blue
Yeah,
flames of takes. I'm going Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Steelers all make the playoffs this year, making it the first year that all four teams from one division have made the playoffs.
that'd be wild.
Um, yeah, right now the Ravens are at 7-12. I think I'm projecting them to be 12-5. The
Okay,
Browns are at 6-3. I'm projecting them to be at 11-6.
all right,
The Bengals and Steelers are at 5-4 and 6-3 respectively. I'm projecting both of them to finish at 10-7. And I think all four teams make the AFC playoffs. Their biggest competition right now, obviously for the wild card, would be the Texans, the Bills, and the Chargers, who are all hovering around 500.
yep.
Obviously, the Texans now have a tiebreaker with the Bengals. So for the Bengals to
Mhm.
make it in at 10-7, you would need the Texans to be 9-8, um, or worse, obviously. I think what's interesting, if you look at all four of those teams from the AFC North, they're all in the top 14 of DVOA right now, which just happens to be the exact
Dang,
number of teams that make the playoffs. The
true.
Steelers are at 14th. They would be considered the worst team in that division right now, despite what the records say.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just saying. I think all four teams are going to make it. I do. I do think they're all going to
That'd
make
be
it.
something to watch for
But
sure.
it's hard to project that. That's why this is a blue flame take, because
Yeah.
that just doesn't happen. I mean, it's never happened. I know we've only
Yeah,
had it
true.
possible for what, 3 years now with the 7 playoff teams. But
Yeah.
even with that, I think we could go 25 years before we would see that again if it were to happen this year.
No, that it's definitely getting real spicy on this one because I was like, there's a couple teams I believe that got to make it in, right? So like Jags Texans, that division's gonna be competitive, and the way I have it playing out, one of those teams, or I guess both, and there would be a tiebreaker. They would be 11-6 if it played out the way I looked at it. And then the Bills Dolphins are the other two from that division. That would make it a little bit more problematic for those teams.
That's
But if we did see all four, that would be something else.
I mean, that's really the blue flame part is that I'm actually saying the Bills won't make it.
Yeah. So you
Or I'm
think the
saying the
Dolphins over
Dolphins
the Bills?
won't.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Or I'm saying the Dolphins won't. One of those 2 teams
Yeah.
won't make it is what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
saying the Chargers won't, and I'm saying the
Oh,
Texans
I said
or
I'll
the
agree with that too.
Jags, whoever won the division or whoever lost the division wouldn't make it in either.
Yeah.
So, and that's not taking into, the Colts are 5-5. The Raiders are 5-5 somehow right now. I mean, so they're
Yeah.
the Jets are 4-5 and are talking about Rodgers coming back. So like, there's plenty of teams in that AFC that are still alive that I'm all
Yeah.
saying, hey, none of them make it because this AFC
We
North
got a
is so
whole
good. But
division.
yeah,
Yeah. I guess the only other time we've seen something similar was last year with the NFC Beast, right? They got 3 out of the 4, which is pretty crazy. Let's see. Our last one we're gonna look at, our last scale. We already turned it up to hot on the dial. We don't got no more dial. I guess the only thing we could expand on would be the oven, but you came up with the sun, the hottest thing out there.
the
Gives us
sun,
warmth
bro.
on this
The
planet of
heat
Earth.
of the sun.
I almost made a really dumb take for this one. I was gonna say there's gonna be no games that have snow, right? And because of the sun itself, that global warming, we got no snow games this year. But but no, my
Oh,
actual
man.
take I'm going with, so tying back to the Texans I was talking about earlier, I'm saying our guy DeMeco Ryans will be coach of the year because him and his team are making that playoffs after winning the division. On his first
Okay.
year as a head coach with the Texans.
All right. I like it. I like it. I don't even think that's crazy hot. I'm gonna be honest. I
I mean,
think
maybe not.
D'Amico should be the favorite right now. Now, them winning the division
Dan
maybe is
Campbell.
kind of a hot take, but D'Amico winning coach of the year feels like a shoo-in right now, the way they're
True.
playing.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I get that. I think Dan Campbell and Mike McDaniel were above him. Maybe one other I can't think of right now.
okay. Okay. I could see Dan Campbell. That makes sense. Um, Speaking of Dan Campbell, I'm really proud of this take I'm about to give you.
Yeah.
It took a little research and a little bit of juice, but
Yeah.
I'm I'm at the point I believe in the Lions. And I believe in them so much that the Lions will be the 1 seed in the NFC and get the bye in the home playoff game, not the Eagles. And many of you are
Yeah.
sitting there saying, "What? What is he saying?"
I
The
had to
Eagles,
look
of
into it
course.
too. I saw your research on there. I had to do my own too, though, just to double check. I was like, I guess it's not really out of the scope.
The Eagles are 8-1 right now. The Lions are now 7-2 after beating the Chargers on the road yesterday, which was one of the toughest games remaining on their schedule. So they're a game back, right? So you're saying to yourself, okay, how would this have to finish for this to happen?
Yeah.
The Lions schedule coming up. They have the Bears at home.
Mhm.
We agree that's probably a win.
That's a tank right there for the other team.
The Packers at home on Thanksgiving. Another feels
Yeah.
like probably a win, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
At the Saints, toss-up game. It's a road game. Playing in New Orleans is always tough, but New Orleans, they're not world beaters this year. Feels like they could get another win there.
Yeah.
At the Bears, another
Again.
win. The Broncos at home, feels like it could be a win. At the Vikings, one of their tougher remaining games. At the Cowboys, the toughest remaining game on their schedule.
Yeah.
And then the Vikings at home. I mean, I'm saying there's 8 games left. I think worst case, they go 6-2,
Yeah.
right? I
True.
mean,
I
six
would
and
say
two in
maybe
those
they lose
games.
3 of those would be
Okay.
worse, which is
Worst
still
case,
even like
they go 5-3. Best case, they go 7-1. So we're looking at I think a 14-3 football team.
yeah.
I think that's probably what you're gonna get. They're 14-3. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we go over to the Eagles. The Eagles have at the Chiefs. Chiefs are
Tough.
coming off the bye.
Well, so
I
are
mean,
they.
both of them are
Yeah,
coming off the bye. But in Arrowhead, I give the Chiefs
that's tough.
an edge there. Then they get the Bills at home. The Bills have not been as good recently, but feels like the Bills, that's one of those games the Bills may get up for and try and, you know what I mean? They may go win it.
Yeah.
You get the 49ers at home. The 49ers are mad about last year's NFC Championship game. I
Yeah,
feel like the
their guy got
49ers may
hurt.
win that game. Yeah. And then they got to go to Dallas and to Seattle. Then they finish the year with a
Yeah.
cupcake Giants Cardinals at Giants. I think there's at least 2 losses in that, maybe 3.
Yeah, very
So if I'm
possible.
saying the
Bunch
Lions
of
are 14 and
bunch of playoff
3,
teams right there.
the Lions are 14 and 3, the Eagles are 13 and 4. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. Um, yeah, I don't think that's crazy. I think
Nah,
that's
not at all.
it feels crazy to say like, no, the Lions are going to be the 1 seed, not the Eagles. But when you
Yeah.
look at the schedules, man,
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
the Lions could come out on top in the NFC.
Yeah, no, I looked into other teams that I thought would be a front runner for being a potential 1 seed, and those schedules were just not as comparable. I looked at the Cowboys, I looked at the Niners, it was like, I guess it really is a possibility for those Lions to pass up the Eagles for that 1 spot, just like Ludacris said.
So there you have it. We went through our hot takes after week 10. We'll see if they turn out to be true. And I think it's time for awards, my friend.
Let's get into it. Do you wanna kick it off or do you want me to take it?
Oh, I will take it, good sir. The
Show.
gamer of the week, named after our former high school head coach Tukwa. It is an award that we give to a guy who doesn't necessarily play the best, but he just helps his team grind out a win. He's a gamer. And I'm giving mine to Kyler Murray.
Kyler
Coming
Murray.
off the injury, he's activated for his first game of the season, led the Cardinals on the 2-minute drive to set up the game-winning field goal. His stats weren't insane, right? Went 19 for 32, 249 yards, an interception. He was sacked twice. He had 6 runs, though, for 33 yards and a touchdown.
He was moving.
And his presence was just undeniable as the Cardinals looked, they've been scrappy all year, but they looked good today. They really did.
Yeah.
And they were able to pull off their second win of the season, on the back of Kyler's feet, getting it done. And so shout out to Kyler Murray coming back. We missed him in the league, and I'm happy for him that he's back in there winning games.
What about that play that helped them clutch up that dub where he was scrambling and then he hit the Brock Purdy, let me show you my back, run away across
Yep.
the other side of the field for like 70 yards and then chuck it
Yep.
deep. That was
Yeah.
wild.
Love that, dude.
So for me this week, I was in a contemplation with dog of the week, gamer of the week, just because I didn't know what I really wanted to do with it, you know? Dog, I was trying to take it back to its roots of just like something simple, right? That caught my eye that made me think, man, this guy's doing some stuff above and beyond, right? So I hit him with the gamer of the week. I'm going TJ Hawkinson. My guy finished 11 catches on 15 targets, 134 yards and a touchdown. He obviously plays tight end, so he had some blocking, not much. He was a little injured, which is part of the reason why I wanted him for the dog. But we throwing him on the gamer. He had a false start. That was his only like issue when he was blocking. And yeah, my guy balled out. I believe he got hurt because someone was trying to punch the ball out. I don't know if it was his side or like his rib, I guess is what they ultimately came up with. And so that dude was taking shots all day, but he looking hot with Josh Dobbs just slinging the rock to him all day, which is nice. So TJ Hawkinson for me. And then
I
for the
like it.
dog of the week, this one comes down to stats. So you talked about it earlier with your team from your high school game with the 4th down conversions. This game alone yesterday, in the afternoon game, the Lions and the Chargers. Let me tell you, they went for it on 4th down a lot. Total of, I believe, 7 or 8 times. We went 4 for 5 on 4th down for the Lions and 3 for 3 for the Chargers. And one of those happened to be a touchdown to Keenan Allen, which was crazy. I was sitting there watching the game like, bro, how many times are we gonna go for it in fourth and just let it happen? Like they were going for it on like the opposite 40, like their own, you know? I was like, bro, these guys are showing their cojones today with the fourth down attempts, and they were getting them, so it all worked out. You know, it's those things where if they work, you look like a genius. If they don't, it's like, man, what's this guy doing today? You know. So my dog goes to the coaches, Dan Campbell and our guy Staley, for
I
going it.
mean, Dan Campbell, it felt like every time he rolled the dice on fourth down, the Lions won. I know they did get stopped early in the game on the goal line,
Uh huh.
but like the balls to go for it at the end there on 4th and 2
Yeah.
to be like, we're gonna go get it and not just kick a field goal to win. We're gonna go, and then play defense. We're gonna go get it, bleed the clock, and then kick a game-ending field goal, like
Yeah.
game over. It's pretty impressive. He has obvious confidence in Ben Johnson, his offensive coordinator, and Jared Goff, his quarterback. I mean, they are in sync right now. So we got to go to the minor setback, major comeback. And this week felt like a good time to revisit a guy who's won this award, but it was like week 1, week 2,
Uh
way
huh.
early in the year. And that is Mr. Joe Burr. He
It'd
threw
be
2 interceptions against the Texans,
tough.
which is very unlike him. Threw one of those in the red zone. Really, really unlike him. He threw for 347 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he was good, but he wasn't good enough. And those 2 turnovers hurt the Bengals in the end. I
Mm-hmm.
expect them to bounce back on a short week, though, against one of the best defenses in the league, against the
Yeah.
Ravens Thursday night. I think the Bengals win that game. Just
Oh,
saying.
where's it at? Do you know?
Let me look. I don't remember where it was at, but I just remember thinking it's like a must win for the Bengals, and I feel like they'll get it done. It's at Baltimore.
Okay. It'd be tough
Since he
environment out
always
there.
responds when their back's against the wall.
True. Also true. Uh,
Oh, the no cap hats off. That's also me. Um, so Bailey Zappi. This is never.
Set the stage
Uh,
because this one's hilarious.
I never thought that I would read the sentence I'm about to read to you, but so Mac Jones gets benched. I mean, that has happened already
Confident
this
in
year, so
himself.
that's not the
Yep.
crazy part. But Bailey Zappi comes in just cold to lead a 2-minute drive for the win, which is just really hard to do.
Yeah.
And not only does he not win the game, he loses it in epic fashion off the fake spike, throws it into triple coverage interception to seal the game. And then you just saw Bill Belichick just like doing one of these, like rubbing his face with both hands. Like, I can't believe I just watched this. I just watched my backup quarterback do a fake spike interception to lose the game. There aren't really many more words than that. That was a brutal way to lose for the Patriots in a game that they were in despite terrible quarterback play once again from Mac Jones.
Yeah, so this one's hilarious. I know I told you I watch at the gym, but when I saw the score today, I was like, "Oh, that was the early game." You know, I was listening to it at work. I was like, I could have sworn I heard this in my ear. There's no way I watched at the gym. Anyways, so I'm listening to Westwood One as per usual because I'm at work, and the guy goes, "Oh, you gotta clock it. You gotta clock it. Like time's running." And then they're like, he clocks it. Oh, it's a fake. And then they're like, Bailey Zappi threw an interception. I just started dying, bro. I was like, ain't no way this fool ran the fake spike and then just threw away the game right there. I started laughing. It was hilarious.
And
So
then
that's one of my
afterwards,
greatest one
like,
of these awards.
tried to complain about a penalty, like wanted
Yeah,
a flag thrown,
I
and I was
saw
like,
that
"Come on,
today.
man, you're not getting
He was
that
like
call."
pointing like, yeah, hilarious, hilarious.
Oh
I
man.
love that one. I mean, that doesn't get better than that. But our big man, big fella, Strahan Munoz Award. This week, I'm kicking it off to our guy, John Feliciano. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. I'm sorry, my guy. But he's on the Niners. My dude had a day. He was balling, bro. His pass pro is insane. The way his eyes, like his focus and his eyes he's so good at passing dudes off. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Or if they like stunt and he picks him up, bro, it was beautiful. Because I was tempted with going with Trent Williams because he's back, but I was like, I can't do that. No, sir. So I was watching him. He let up 2 tackles. One of them was a little fluky because he was pulling and the dude he got to the block, but the dude was a backer. So as soon as Christian McCaffrey blew by him, he just tackled him. He dove for his legs and got him. So that one's a little iffy, but yeah, he's good at blocking in those first 5 yards. So if he's doing a combo to the back or if he just goes straight there, really good at those. He's a little bit slower though, so getting around the edge or like having to get deep into the secondary, like it's a little bit tougher for him to get there. But yeah, 55 on the Niners. John Feliciano gets my award this week.
It's funny because you gave your O-line half of this award to the 49ers. They're going to get it on the D-line too. My Strahan winner of the week, big fella, the entire 49ers D-line. They got a slump buster this week, all right? They had been in a slump. They've been struggling to get sacks for weeks. And as my former D-line coach that I worked with, Jacob Hales, shout out to him. He's a awesome dude, but he used to watch certain O-lines, and
Uh-huh.
on his scouting report to his guys, he'd write, "This week's the slump buster, boys." That meant like, "Hey,
Yeah.
we can get after these guys." And apparently the
Yeah.
49ers during their bye week figured that the Jags were the slump
True.
buster. They busted out with 5 sacks. All the
Mhm.
big names contributed, right? Yeah, Bosa, Young, Armstead, Hargrave,
Yeah.
Farrell. They all had at least a half sack against the Jags. I don't know if it was the bye week. I don't know if it was
Probably
some
that.
other change or if it was just
More
picking up
juice in a
Chase
locker
Young.
room. Yeah, or that.
I don't know what it was, but they look different. And if you're anyone who has the 49ers left on your schedule,
Good
I would
luck.
be afraid. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
that's for
D-line's
sure.
engine is revved up now.
You know, it's funny. I put my award winner after you, and I didn't even realize you took the 49ers as well. Because the way I do it, I was like, I'd look at who has the most rushing yards or who just blew the other team out of the water, and it's like they can't be messing up too bad, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But speaking of people who could be messing up, or maybe they're not, maybe they're just simply balling out there. We got our Who's Cooking award, our quarterback who we think is either whipping up some fire food or they're just burning down the house. Which you alluded to it. 5 sacks. I went with Trevor Lawrence.
Oof.
My guy went 17 for 29, 185 yards and 2 picks. No crazy
Oof.
stats on a team that I think would be really well making the playoffs and playing a team that's definitely going to make the playoffs on the other side of the football league. And the worst part was there was one play this dude had to delay a game, and then right after he goes and throws a pick. It was just all
Ah.
bad. It wasn't, and then he had his other pick he threw. It was a little bit higher pass that got tipped, and then that leads to that. But I think he had a fumble as well. I didn't write down. He had a fumble where it was a strip sack, and just I think that one was your guy Chase Young. So Trevor Lawrence is
Well,
not whipping up some food. I'll tell you that.
yeah, Trevor Lawrence, maybe I
Oh,
should put
I'm
him on my minor
bugging.
setback for major
I'm
comeback, but
bugging.
I'm going with my, who's cooking is Dak Prescott. The guy had another 400 plus yard, 4 touchdown game against a bad team. It's the 3rd time he's done that this year against just bad teams, but he did cook the Giants, and it was with CeeDee Lamb all game long. Those 2 have been unreal this year
Yeah,
as a
hella
combination.
hella receptions
Um,
over there.
yeah, CeeDee's having a career year. Dak is having
Mhm.
a good year throwing it to him. You'd love to see him do it against better teams and win those games, but that connection has been awesome, and Dak cooked the Giants.
Yeah, well, I lied to you about who was cooking. This is the first time I had 2 quarterbacks back to back for the award, so I'm really dumb. And Trevor Lawrence was my Boo Boo Evans Award winner.
Ah, that's
So,
good.
well then, here we are. So my actual who's cooking guy was supposed to be Justin Herbert, who actually balled out,
Who actually did
and
cook. Yeah, he just
yeah,
cooked in and out.
he exactly. He couldn't take the dub. They fumbled. His defense couldn't stop a nosebleed, as you like to say. They're just those two teams just run up the score on everyone because on the opposite side you kind of have to. But
I
Justin
think I
Herbert went
saw
27 for 40. My bad.
No, no, I was gonna say for Herbert, I mean, I know you're gonna give us his stats and how well he played, but I think I saw a couple things that are crazy. Number one, I'm pretty sure Herbert has the most losses since he became a starter, the most losses where he scored 30 points or more.
I saw something
And he
like that.
also in his career, the amount of points he scored is also the exact amount that is of points that his defense has given up since he became a starter.
I
So
didn't see that one, but that's tough. I saw one that was like the Chargers as a whole, since Philip Rivers has been there, is their quarterbacks always perform, but their defense isn't good enough to help them win. So they're like not the obviously, Philip Rivers made the AFC championship, but like over the course of the other years, like they don't give their quarterback a chance to go and make good things happen. They just end up doing worse than they should. But yeah, so Justin Herbert, 323 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick, and then 4 carries and 15 yards on those. So I butchered that. That's on me. I read the notes wrong, but I was so passionate about Trevor Lawrence, which is pretty funny.
hey, bro, it happens to the best of
I-
us, you
I'm
know?
I'm having
It
a rough
happens.
day. I butchered the stat early on. I said Josh Dobbs was on the Saints and the Cardinals and the Vikings all in one sentence. It's all bad. But quick update before we get into our turnover on downs. We got the Broncos Bills. Broncos up 15-8 at halftime right now. And look at that. The win percentage has flipped to 58.9 for the Broncos going into halftime.
There we go. The Broncos are cooking,
They
huh?
got some juice a little bit in them. That's a
There we go.
AFC West might get two teams.
Alright, slow your roll, dude, slow your roll.
No, 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 but I do think the Raiders might have a chance, bro. Their new head coach, he's fed them some new life.
You see how I'm looking at you right now?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I do. I think you should just
Uh,
get into that first down of our turnover on downs where you give us
yeah,
that
yeah.
good old trend you see around the league that's been going up. Maybe even, college sometimes. Maybe they
So,
adopt it as well.
it's funny, we are gonna talk a little bit about an adoption of sorts. So, we're gonna look today at the Panthers, right? From Thursday Night Football this week. Yes, they did lose, but that's not what I'm focusing on. I wanna look at, what are the Panthers doing offensively to help Bryce Young, right? And,
Yeah.
so you're gonna see this play here. They use play action pass, but they're gonna do it out of the pistol. And the reason this is important, right? If you don't know what pistol is and you're listening, but you can't see, the back is lined up behind the quarterback in the gun, right? The quarterback's in shotgun and the back is 2 yards behind him, directly behind him. And so the reason this is important, when the back is lined up to the side of him, play action pass, you don't get that old school turn your back to the defense action. And
Mhm.
so it doesn't get backers coming downhill as much. It may get them moving side to side, but not necessarily coming downhill. And
Yeah.
when you get that back turn to the defense, you can really sell a play fake and get it back around, get your head around while you still have an advantage against the defense. So the Panthers, they're going to use pistol here to help Bryce Young create a play action pass along with motion to create a little confusion, right? And you'll see the Bears, they're playing man free. Okay. So at the
Alright.
bottom of the
Yeah.
screen, these two guys, right? And then the safety have these three. And then the safety at the top is going to be the one high safety, is going to be the guy that's free. Well, as soon as that motion happens across, it pulls one safety down, pulls the other safety high. Now we're 2-on-2 and 2-on-2 with one safety high, and then the backers will play off the back, right?
Okay.
So the Panthers are going to run a play action scissors concept at the top. You're going to get the post. from the outside receiver, the corner from the inside receiver, and then at the bottom, you're going to get a dig with a sit route. All right. So we'll let this thing play out. The motion forces the Bears to move a little bit. You'll see what
Motion right to
happens with
left.
the play action fake. It just stops defenders and catches their eyes just quick enough, right? Even the
Yeah.
middle of the field safety. And as Bryce Young turns his back, now you get this concept with the scissors, and we've got leverage. And he lets this thing go. As his guy's coming out of the break, he's got it beat, and it's a big play.
That was a nice ball.
It was a great ball, and everyone will tell you that CJ Stroud is better than Bryce Young. Right now, that's just true.
Okay.
And Bryce Young has not been great. He's not. But he can make some throws like this one when his offense helps him, right? It gets the backers moving downhill a little bit, causes the safety's eyes to waver just for a second, and it creates an open window in a one-on-one situation where he puts it right on him for a big play.
Bro, he took
So,
like 5 steps after being in gun. Did you see that?
yeah. Yeah. So, and that's what you can do with pistol. And that's kind of why a lot of teams like it and teams will go to it. It really was for a long time a college deal. I mean, it was invented at Nevada with Colin Kaepernick.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it became a thing that, Harbaugh used with Kaepernick in the NFL a little bit. And it originally was sort of a run heavy kind of set to
Yeah.
get backs going
Facts.
downhill out of the gun. It creates zone reads, downhill, midline reads, out of the gun,
Yep,
things
yep.
like that. But, instead, the Panthers are able to use it to create play action pass and get Bryce Young away from the pass rush to get his back turned to the defense. So they really believe the action of the back there and creates an open throw for him.
Yeah, I had a question about pistol since we're on it. When there's 2 backs, you got the one behind him and one the side, is that anything different? Or is it when you have backs on both sides and behind you where it's like full house? What was
Yeah, I mean, so everyone tags backfields differently. I would call it full house if you have a back in the pistol and then one on each side. That's kind of
Uh-huh.
almost a old school, like, wishbone sort of look, 3 backs in the backfield like that.
Uh-huh.
Um, if you're talking just 2 back, one dot in
Yeah,
the eye
one
in
behind
the
and
back in the
yeah,
pistol,
one your
and
side.
then one offset on either side. I always tag that as, king or queen, depending on where the offset back is in relationship to the 2 receivers, the 2 or the 1
Okay.
receivers, assuming that you have a 3 receiver set out there,
Yeah.
or even a tight end. So, and you can do different stuff with that. You can run 2 back action where you can get the dive and the pitch
Yeah.
out. You can get all kinds of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how
That was my
modern
favorite
football
play in
has.
Madden.
Yeah, I mean, that's how modern football has reused old school concepts, but just made them modern, in the
Yeah.
gun. So you can do all kinds of fun stuff with 2 back sets that look like that out of, 2 back pistol.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if those had different names or not. That's why I was asking. But second down on our turnovers on down. It's gonna be me giving you the bet for next week. So as I told you at the top, didn't win. Our guy Kyler Murray ruined that for us. But it's good for him to come back and get that dub. First game back. So this week my eyes are looking at, we got the Cowboys -11 versus the Panthers. You know, Cowboys got to beat a team that they're supposed to and bad. You know what I mean? They did it with the Giants. And let's see it happen again with the Panthers. So the Chargers versus the Packers. Chargers are 3.5 favorites. Now, if I were to take this one, I'd probably tease it down to 3. Take the half point, make it a little bit safer. You know what I mean? I got Seattle versus the Rams at -1 on the road. Matt Stafford might be back. Maybe that helps them a little bit. Who knows? But I do think the Seahawks will win that one by more than 1, obviously, because you got to win. Let's see. And then the last one I was taking a look at was the Vikings versus the Broncos at +1.5. That's the Josh Dobbs being the guy in me. That's what that one comes from. But the true one I'm gonna pick, I'm going Cowboys -11. Let's just see them blow out another team because they need to. They get the pad the stats game again, you know?
Yeah. That Vikings-Broncos game could be fun. That could be, I mean, if the
Yeah.
Broncos win tonight, if they hang on and beat the Bills, you're talking about two of the hottest teams in the league, the Broncos and the Vikings, after starting really slow.
True. That's for
Seriously,
sure.
those are two of the hottest
They're
teams in the league now.
Yeah, so that one could be fun. I don't know what time that one's at, but hopefully the later games I could catch it.
It depends on where it's at. If it's in Denver, it will be. It'll be the later game.
True. True.
If it's in Minnesota, it'll probably be the earlier game. Usually how that works.
Yeah.
All
East
right, so
Coast is the
third
first one.
down. The third down breakdown today, I kind of cheated.
Uh-huh.
I'm giving you a fourth down.
That's all right.
So even though it's the third down
It's the
breakdown,
down
I
and or
really,
the distance. That's what we're looking at mainly.
yeah, I mean,
The
even though
short.
it's a third down, I wanted to give you a really good play, and I found one that I just loved in that Lions-Chargers game. We know there were a lot of fourth downs in that game.
Yep.
This was 4th and 2 from the Lions, basically to seal the win. You know, they're 4th and 2 from the 27-yard line going in, right? 26-yard line going in.
Uh-huh.
And they could have kicked a 43-yard field goal for to try and take the lead under 2 minutes and trusted their defense. But they said, "Hey, to heck with that. We're going to go for it. We trust our offense against this Charger defense. We've been getting everything we want all day. We're
True.
going to go for it. When we get it, then we'll just bleed the clock, kick a game winner from there, and go home with a win." So they
Yep.
trusted their offense. You'll see the Chargers are playing tight cover 3 here. They're going to really try and press up, but it is cover 3. They're going to drop to the flat. The corners are thirds. You got hook defenders in the middle, flat defender out here, corner, the thirds corner out here, and then the middle of the field safety who's going to play really tight to the line of scrimmage because it's 4th and 2.
Uh-huh.
They're going to rush 4. They're going to trust their guys to get home. The Lions, they're going to motion out of a little 2x2, out of 2x2 stacks and motion over into 3x1 look, not quite
Left to
bunch, but
right.
condensed. Say that again?
I was saying from the left to right. Sorry.
Yeah. Left to right. He's motioning left to right over into 3x1. So on the bottom side of the screen, you're going to get a smash concept, right? So it's going to be a corner from the inside receiver, an outside hitch from the outside receiver. Then going inside to the tight end, Sam Laporta, he's going to run the OTB where he's going to get across the field and just sit right on the sticks, right over
Mhm.
the ball. To the backside from where the motion came, you're going to get the curl coming back under, over the top. So you kind of get an under-over concept with Laporta and this receiver. And then you're going to get Jahmyr Gibbs on the wheel route out of the backfield on the swing. All right.
Okay.
Now, the play is designed for Goff to get it to Gibbs on the swing. Initially, that's going to be his first read. I'm going to look at the flat defender. If the flat defender bails to the flat with Gibbs, then I'm thinking I want the curl to my receiver over here, my single set receiver.
Yeah.
Then if he doesn't like that, his progression should take him to Laporta sitting on the sticks. If by that time he doesn't like it, he's probably got to bail out and look to scramble to the corner hitch side, right? So you see him go through his progression. Goff does such a great job here, and he doesn't panic. He's looking at that flat defender, right? You can see where his eyes are. That
Yeah.
flat defender does a great job not only getting width, but also
They
Khalil
chipped him.
Mack, yeah, totally chips Jahmyr Gibbs on his way out. So it gives him that extra second, right, to get out to the flat. So he's looking at that. Now he says, okay, I know that that backer is vacated. I got to get to my second read. I want the curl route. Okay, I'm looking at that, and you can see him patting the ball. He wants to let it go. But the corner over here does a great job on that route. Never mind the hook defender getting underneath it. The corner's sitting on it. So he doesn't like it. He pats it again. Then he finds last minute, he gets to his third route in the progression. to Laporta sitting on the sticks, guns it, drills it in there for a completion, gets tackled. It's a 4-yard gain, makes it a 5-yard gain by dragging another defender with him. And boom, first down. Lions feel like they've just secured a win. But again, you can see Laporta just super disciplined, finding the soft spot in the zone between the flat defender and the hook defender here. And Goff with just the patience, trust in his offensive line to give him the time, the patience to go through each progression and then get the ball out to the right guy. Jared Goff, man, he's really gotten a lot better in those kinds of situations. I mean, he was great for a couple years there with the Rams. Then it felt like, he had a slight decline. And now he's back to being a guy that I think most people right now, if they're really watching and understanding what's going on in the league, they tell you he's a top 10 quarterback. And that's not crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll take a look at that hopefully maybe in the next 2 weeks.
Week 12.
Right? Week 12? Yeah.
Week 12, we will be back on the QB tiers, and we will certainly be talking about Goff. Yes.
Perfect. Got to get that update going into the back end of the season. But closing out our turnover on downs, we got the bad beat. And this one comes from college, a little college football. So we had Washington, the Huskies. They were 9.5-point favorites. There was a play late in the third where there could have been a pick six, right?
Mm-hmm.
And well, the dude who picked it off hit the Deshaun Jackson. Let me throw it behind my back before I even crossed the line.
No.
So instead of it being at like a 12-point differential, so they would have had the win, it's still stuck at, I believe, 5 or 6. Fast forward. Right after that play, they get a safety. So now the points is at 7, so they're 2.5 away. We fast forward to 1:45 on the clock. They go to kick a field goal. And as you know, where I'm probably going with this statement, lie. The field goal gets blocked. Ends up in some random defender's hands. They don't get the dub. When if they would have scored that touchdown instead of throwing it behind your back, boom, you get your 10 plus. Or if they get this field goal right here, 10 plus. But instead, they only win by 7. Yeah.
People are still dumb enough to do the Deshaun, throw it behind you before you
bro.
score. Why? Gosh, that would drive me so nuts as a coach.
Yeah. It was
One of
this
my
one was
players
bad.
ever did that, I would lose my mind.
Like it wasn't on the 1 yard. It was like on the 3 almost. Like it was between the 2 and 3 where he did. Like this was even a couple steps before, which was wild.
Oh,
And so they only won by 7. Bad beat right there. 2 different opportunities, doesn't work out.
Terrible beat. Gosh. All right. So we got to finish it out with the banger of the week. It's my turn. I'm giving you a movie this week.
Ooh.
A movie that I think you'll like. It's on Netflix. It's called Reptile. Stars Benicio del Toro as a detective. It's got Justin Timberlake, who's a realtor that's kind of a suspect in the investigation.
Okay.
So basically what happens is Justin Timberlake is a realtor and his girlfriend is a realtor as well.
Uh-huh.
JT finds his girlfriend murdered in
Whoa.
a house that they were looking to sell.
All
Then,
right.
of course, there's a whole investigation, and there's a lot going on throughout it, and I'm not going to give anything away, but it's really good. Ending is, slightly, you're just not prepared for it, is what I would say. Kind of twists and turns
who
all
the
the way through.
suspect is, or like the ending, like the outcome?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, both things. Like all the way up until the end, you're like, once you think you know what's going on, then something else happens. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's one of those. So, even once you start figuring it out, you're actually not right. So it's good
Perfect.
that way, and you won't know
So it's a
until
thriller?
you know. Yeah, it's a thriller. It's a, who done it, a little bit investigation, and Benicio del Toro's character is really good. He did a good job as he usually does. I like
Uh-huh.
him as an actor, so that's probably part of it. But yeah, the plot line's good. It was entertaining. I enjoyed it whole way through.
Dope, dope. Oh yeah. Have to add that to our list. But as we made it, I'll give you this last score update. Still 15-8 with 12:06 in the third. Broncos are still up. Let's see, 61.1 win percentage right now.
Go
And
Broncos! That
with
helps my
that it all
AFC
being
North hot take theory.
yeah, that is true. But after our show today, we got our guy Ray Ray taking us out.